Welcome to the second battle between Sword and Imputed. Today's battle we have Egypt versus the Epirus. Now Egypt do have inferior Sarissa pikemen compared to what the Epirus have. However, they have shock pikes and they also have shock spears. So very aggressive here, and the Egyptians also have a Scorpio that can zone out and damage up the enemy cavalry. And well, they do have the advantage because of that. They can simply damage up the cavalry and then yeah, damage up the cavalry, go around the flank. The Epirus do not have shock spears, and it's going to be a challenge for them to damage up these short pikes of the Egyptians. So Egypt do have an advantage that they can push the flanks much better than what the Epirus have. The Epirus have some Cretan archers here that are quite expensive, and those money could have been used for more supporting troops here. You do have the Syriosi spears, but they're not as aggressive as the Egyptian variant. And also these short pikemen will damage and beat anything here up front. I can see some Epiroti levies. They have armor piercing and they have a slight bonus versus elephants, but the morale is very low. So preferably, like, I don't know that I don't know everything about Rome 2. I do get beaten and all that, but could have been better to invest in maybe instead of these Epiroti levies, you could have brought either two more Furiosi swordsmen giving you more javelins, or maybe if you skip the Cretans, you could have 4 Furiosi spears and then 4 Furiosi swords here on the flanks. I know you will lack the missile support, but you could maybe have some Agrianians also, and then you go aggressive here. It wouldn't really counter the Scorpio, but either bring your own Scorpio to counter so you can do the same to the enemy as they do to you, so you can equalize the damage, because the cavalry here is otherwise quite equal. Epirus do have one more cavalry unit. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. No, it's the same in terms of cavalry. Never mind. So I can see that Epirus formation. He's like very concerned about getting flanked here on these pikemen, so that's why he has his swords here very close to the enemy his pike line. So he's very wary about the flank. However, the advantage is still with the Egyptians due to their short pikes and these shock spears. Those are quite expensive, so they have been like Egypt has sacrificed. He has downgraded himself in the cavalry department, but the Scorpio will make up for that. And since the Epirus also have those Sarissa lancers, it's like equal in terms of cavalry power. Epirus could move up these Cretans because he has the advantage in terms of the missiles, in terms of archers. But I don't think it's the archers gonna decide this battle. It is the melee. And the quicker the melee goes in, the less effect these archers can do. Let's see what happens. He's targeting these archers because some of the bolts will hit these pikemen as well. Epirus do have superior pikemen. It's up to Epirus to... some of the bolts will hit these Agrianians as well. Could have been better to have these Agrianians already on the flanks along with these Epiroti levies. So what Egypt is trying to do here is trying to provoke the Epirus into making an attack on him. However, attacking with the Scorpio on these archers, I would say, is a waste. Even though some of your bolts will hit these pikemen instead. Don't be so concerned about that. It's almost in range here on the cavalry. Just if you move the Scorpio a little bit more here, because as long as these Scorpios is now, there's like a small chance whilst this Scorpio is busy elsewhere. However, he must pin. The Epirus must move his spearman over here. He must have the support. Egypt now moves away his spearmen to get the short pikes instead. Now these two Ryosi are now in a wrong spot because they're getting charged now by these Peltas pikemen. And now these short pikemen are gonna pop up and they're gonna murder these Ryosi spears. So Egypt is now this Scorpio has been noticed. That was a good charge there from Epirus, but the Epiroti general got charged here and the Egyptian general is on its way. Now he only has these Epiroti levies, but they are outmatched by these Galatian spearmen that are now set up to guard the flank of these short pikemen. You can see that they have a very high attack, and these spearmen can't really do anything about it. Here the Epirus charged both of their cavalry units into one cavalry unit, leaving the other Egyptian cavalry unit free to get a clean charge on the enemy cavalry. And the morale of these cavalry units are very low, so it doesn't matter if they have most of their men remaining. They will still... Now the Egypt do have these Turok Folksmen, and they have a massive bonus versus elephants in a fight. So Egypt can well prepare here to be fighting Epirus. These elephants must keep moving into this line. That's his best chance. These Galatian spears are like behind. Epirus do have a flanking here on these Peltas pikemen and Galatians. However, the Epiroti elephants have been routed now. And the Agranians are coming in here, but they are like charging. These Agranians are charging the elephants, but they got charged themselves by these Folksmen. The Folksmen do have quite a big of a charge themselves. I can see that the Epiroti cavalry, okay, they're returning here. It's 2 against 1 here, but this unit is almost full strength. Charge! So yeah, these Agrianians are getting hammered now by these Sarissa Lancers that are almost full strength. The Epiroti cavalry has now been routed. These levies are getting butchered by the Galatian spearmen. However, they did these levies did relatively well considering their price. These short pikemen, I don't know what you're gonna do. Just run away. That's good. In the center though, the Epirotes are winning. Don't charging the elephants. Don't charging the elephants. Try to... Well, you can't join up with your own line again. But the Egyptian elephants are also here, so... And that will probably shatter these Indian elephants. They're already wavering now. And yeah, there they got shattered. So now there's a nice pretty line for the Egyptians to go in from behind. These Tyrosi swordsmen are doing their job. They are holding up against these Folksmen. But it's an overwhelming mobility advantage for the Egyptians. Egypt is now hunting down all these cavalry that are trying to move up, but to no avail. Egypt still has missiles and they're just peppering away. And you're not allowed to box up in this tournament, so you can't do a box here and say, oh gee, looks like you can beat me. But he has missiles, so it wouldn't really matter, and if the Scorpions can still fire, that's even better. But now, this pike line is just getting routed. You can see how many men are still remaining in these units, but they are routing. So having inferior service line doesn't matter as long as you have a superior supporting line, and those Auxibeles really did help to turn the tide. So how do you beat the Peltas pikemen? You shoot them, preferably. You have either Agriani javelin men shooting them, and you try to weaken them up with javelins and all that beforehand, and then you try to flank them. So good game here to both players, but again, like most of these fights are not gonna be decided by the missiles. Having Cretans, where that's a lot of money going into these men, and if you just skip the Cretans here, you could have had 2 more Furiosi spears and 2 more Furiosi swords and an Agrianian. So like 2 to 1. It wouldn't help you against these Auxibeles, but it would give you more supporting troops. Yeah. Good game to both players. Thank you for watching. Bye.